to our YouTube channel. Today we're going to make a few Pusheen crafts. By the way, I think this is my new favorite room. I love it. We're going to start with a pair of shoes that look like this. For this, we're going to need some light air drying clay. Just take a little bowl and start shaping it in the shoe sole. Kind of like this. Then when that's ready, try measuring it on a doll's foot. Then make it a bit longer than that. Now you'll need a smaller piece of clay, and you're gonna roll it out into a sausage. Sausage. I think that's too thin. Trial and error, people. Trial and error. Make a long rectangle like this out of the smaller ball of clay that you had. First, you're going to put the bottom part underneath the foot, and then your smaller rectangle over. Make sure to press on the sides so it stays in. All done. Now we just need to wait for it to dry. When the shoes are dry, you're going to want to draw this kind of shape. The reason why I'm showing this to you on paper is because I just know that I'm going to mess it up on camera. I drew a better one off camera. This is what you should get in the end. I even wrote Pusheen on the inside of both the shoes. Next, we're going to be making this little notepad that says, "Take notes, then take naps." I'm going to be making this notepad with my friend who is visiting me today and had no idea I was making a video. Say hi.
Hi.
First, we'll cut out the notepad. Now we're going to stick both notebook sides onto some card, leaving this blue flap alone because we're going to need that for later. Now we're going to cut out the card. Now we're going to cut out the notepad's pages themselves. Stack all of your pages and then run a glue stick on the top. Then take the cover and put it on the front. Now take the back. Now glue the flap to the other side. Now your cute little Pusheen notepad is ready. This one is mine, and that one is the one my friend made. Was this hard to make?
Not really.
Okay, let's get on to the next one. This one and this one will be quite easy because we're going to use the same technique that we use for all of our books. Step 1, cut everything out. Step 2, fold accordion style and then apply glue on these pages, leaving the first one and the last one. Glue the card to the cover and then leave the middle for the pages. It should look something like this. Now we're gonna glue the pages in, like this. And now you've got yourself a little notebook. Make this one the same way. This is what the second one will look like when it's finished. This is mine, and that's my friend's. Unfortunately, he had to leave after our tennis practice. Let's make this Catpusheeno next. This is what it should look like when you've cut it out. Next, we're gonna roll it up so that it's perfect coffee cup size, I guess. Just slowly roll it up. You can choose what size you want your cappuccino to look. Well, Catpusheeno to look, and then you glue the other end. We made 2 different sizes, one for small and one for large. Next, you're going to want to fill your cup almost to the top with hot glue and glue on a bottom. On this one, we used a button, and on this one, we used normal card. On the one with a button, I'm thinking to glue another button on top for a lid, so it looks nice and neat. Now that the hot glue inside has dried, let's paint. I'm gonna paint it this brown color. Now we're gonna dry brush this cappuccino with a bit of white to make it look like foam. Next, we're gonna cut out one of these strips. We're gonna need a pen or a pencil that can be big enough for a mug. Secure the end with the glue here, and then add more glue to the strip and finish wrapping it around. And then you can carefully pull it off. It should look something like this. Next, we glue it to the card. I just put a bit of hot glue in the bottom. When everything is dried, cut out the cup and fold a small piece of paper to make the handle. Then glue it on to finish your mug. And now your doll can enjoy a little Pusheen mug. Next, we're gonna make stickers. To do that, we're gonna have to first cut the stickers out of the printable. Next, take parchment or shiny paper and cover it with sellotape. Place the stickers you chose on top of the sellotape. And then cover everything with another layer of tape. And if you cut it out, peel the paper off, then you get a real working sticker that you can put in your mini doll notebook. I found this method on the My Froggy Stuff YouTube channel. Next, let's cut this packaging out and glue it to card. Now you have 3 different types of packaging. One for the Pusheen pen, one for the Pusheen sticky notes, and one for the Pusheen badges. You can stick these badges on card and cut them out. But I took it a step further by gluing it onto a button with packaging wire for a pin. So now it can actually stick to my doll's clothing. You can glue them on the packaging, or if you're using pins like me, remember to make some holes. I made a tiny bag out of packaging plastic to fit the badges inside. And now it can be sold in mini doll stores. To make the pencils, I'm using toothpicks that I painted gray. And to make a little Pusheen pencil topper, I'm using a ball of air drying clay. Cut out the sticky notes at the top. Stack them and run a glue stick on the top. Next, cut out the tiny Pusheen from here and back it with a bit of card. Glue the sticky notes in place on the packaging. Then glue the Pusheen figure on top. Here's how I made the tiny plastic bag. Fold a piece of plastic in half. Run a thin layer of hot glue on the side. Use anything you have to squeeze it in the middle so that the hot glue is at the back. Now run a thin layer of hot glue across the bottom. Place the sticky notes inside. After I drew the little Pusheen face, I used a paper strip to attach it to the packaging. And finally, we place it in the bag we made. Now let's make Pusheen herself. Let's cut out this picture. We're going to use it as a pattern. Now trace it twice on gray fuzzy fabric, or if you want things to be done quicker, just fold the fabric in half. Cut it out, leaving a small seam allowance. We'll also need 4 small circles around 1 centimeter in diameter. They really don't have to be perfect. Don't worry about it. Use a back stitch to sew all the way, leaving an opening at the bottom. Then flip it inside out. Next, we're going to make a paw. Make sure to finish all the way around. Add a little stuffing in the middle. Then pull the thread and add a few more stitches. Add the stuffing and glue on the paws using a hot glue gun. Use a thin marker to draw Pusheen's face. You can stitch the bottom, or like me, you can hot glue it. For the tail, glue in the sides. After both sides are secured, fold and glue together. I glued on the tail, then decided to stitch on the stripes. After stitching the 2 back stripes, I kind of stitched the whole thing. To make the stripes on the tail, I used acrylic paint. And then I painted the stripes on the back to match the tail. I know it makes no sense to stitch and then paint on top of that, but I'm going through a whole bunch of trial and error here. Please bear with me. I even gave it a little tag that says Pusheen. To make our last craft, you will need a piece of an old white t-shirt. To make the t-shirt, you're going to fold the fabric in half. Then you're going to put a doll and lightly sketch the size of the t-shirt. Then fold it again and cut on the lines. Cut the corner to create an opening. This is what you're going to have. Now fold and hem the edges of the sleeves and the bottom. You can use glue or thread. To hem the collar, we're going to use a thin strip of fabric, putting it good side to good side and pulling it just a little bit. I'm using a back stitch. While I was doing the neck, I realized it was a bit too small, so I had to create an opening at the back. Now that we're done hemming everything, we're going to flip it to the good side and sketch something that looks like this. I practiced on a paper first and then used a pencil to sketch it on the t-shirt. Using acrylic paint and a toothpick, I painted it all on. The final step is sewing the sides together. And now you have the most adorable Pusheen t-shirt.